We are live. Welcome to the RedBlue Pod number 29. And we got our usual co-host. You can now present yourself for any new viewer.
Yep, cool. And I don't know if when you do these streams, if you're like showing the Discord thing, or at times when you do it. But yeah, I had to switch to like a alternate account for today that is like it's inactive. I don't use it anymore. But yeah, because I couldn't log into my main one. But that's also why it took a little long to start. Took like 20 minutes there. But yeah. How's your day been though?
Man, I got a new job. That's a rough job, but it's only short term until I get back to security.
Uh,
So I slept all day because it's night shift because I like night shift. So yeah, that's
yeah.
my day.
Yeah, I like night shifts. Like I do like night times. It's just for health reasons, I really had to like switch it up, do a 180 because for certain reasons, like again, having a late shift can really mess up with like your body clock and everything, and it was really messing me up. But it wasn't just because of that; it was just for other reasons. Yeah, I really like nighttime though, for sure.
Nighttime is perfect, man. I
Yeah,
feel like I got more energy during night. I don't know why. So,
same.
how was your day?
My day's been pretty good. Uh, Outside of a couple things, nitpicks, but nah, pretty good so far. Fucking cat won't shut up, but hey,
The
have to
cat.
fucking take it to the vet. Yeah, yeah. Thing just like fucking the day I got here at this place, it was just like it was at the door, fucking yelling for food, and now it won't go away. So I just live in here now, I guess. So I just got it its shots and fleas removed, I guess.
So, let's do this. Star 2022, the first topic. What did you thought about the movie?
Um, well, curious to know what you think of it, because I mean, on one hand, this is the type of film that I would imagine you might like just from experience with like what you said you like and like with like dramas and stuff. But on the other hand, the pacing is super slow, which is fine for me, but might not be fine for you. So I'll be curious what you had to say about it. But for me, I really love this film. I did not watch the director's other films before seeing this, but I'm probably going to now. Yeah, this is basically, honestly, like yeah, it's like a film that's pretty much about like cancel culture, and it's a character study, sort of like the films we watched before from Darren Aronofsky, like Black Swan and stuff, and The Wrestler. And yeah, it's honestly like the perfect film about like cancel culture. And they going into this, I wasn't like aware or experienced with like famous musicians, so I thought this was a biopic. But no, this is a character they made up, and that is incredible because this character feels so fucking real and authentic.
Yeah.
And everything in this feels real and authentic. It is like amazing, and it like touches every single little like key detail and just like thing that like in the topic of like online culture and like cancel culture, and I mean separating the art from the artist. It like covers every single thing, and it doesn't give you one side. It gives you like both sides to think about with like and up to you to like decide, like whether you're on her side more or not as much by the end of it, like what, or 50-50. Like it's interesting to think about, and it's a film that's definitely, makes you think, and I really love that. And yeah, the performance by Kate Blanchett was just fucking amazing. I really loved it. The editing was great as well, the direction, everything, and the music as well. And yeah, didn't rely on like a fucking soundtrack or anything, just was great. And yeah, and the dream-like sequences were pretty trippy as well. But yeah, very realistic, well made, well detailed, well studied film. Yeah, really love it. Definitely one of my favorite of the year personally, with just like what I'm into personally my taste in films. But yeah, I'm wondering what did you think of it? Because I'm definitely curious. Did you have the same love for it or no, or did you hate it like the Banshees as well?
You did hit the nerve right by saying the pacing, man. The pacing. I think the pacing killed the movie for me. It wasn't the worst for sure. It was a good movie, and I think the last hour and a half or so was the peak of the movie. Like there are parts at the start of the movie that is useful to watch, but there's a lot of things in between that I just feel they could have been cut off to give a better experience. A perfect example would be the scene where the mother or the father, I can't remember, the old person dies. It's like, okay, I understand it's part of slice of life storytelling, but I don't really care about that character, and it doesn't really impact Tar that much. So I just feel like that kind of filler content killed the pacing for me, and there's a lot of it in the movie. But um, like overall, I think it's still a very good movie, even if the pacing really killed the experience for me. In my notes, like the two big issues are pacing, but pacing is repeated many times, and the other issue would be the main character thinking it's a good idea to go in the dark tunnel over a toy. Yeah, that sequence, I was like, man, why did she go there just to bring back a toy? It's like for sure
Well,
something
she
will
knows
happen
she
there.
lives there. She knows she lives there. She didn't really like know exactly the situation I think the character was in. So, and then it kind of like got to the point where she was also kind of just like, yeah, wondering like, how fucked up is this place, like the situation she's in, and like kept like exploring to try to find her, and then like return it. I think that was like part of it.
So yeah, these are like my two issues: the pacing and that whole scene in the tunnel.
Yeah, that's understandable. I get it. For me personally, when I first watched it, I thought that too. Like I thought, maybe you could like shorten this, or because when I first went into this, I didn't really know the type of film it was. All I knew was that it was getting monstrous praise by people. So I didn't expect it to be this slow burn of a film, slow pace, and 3 hours long. So it was a little shocking, but the more I think thought about it afterwards, and with a rewatch, the more I loved it. And yeah, I wouldn't really cut anything out of it personally because I do think each scene had something important, like a little, like one step along the way that's like crucial, like kind of like constructing a bridge that all leads up to the climax. So, but that's just me personally. But yeah, I can definitely see a lot of people being the pacing and yeah, a lot of stuff not being cut out and certain things you said just like killing it for them kind of.
Yeah. So I will say this. I like the critique about how the society can dislike someone uh, or something just because it's made by straight people. That was I think I found that hilarious because it's really realistic. Like some weirdos in university, especially, they think everything is about
Oh, that scene was
gender.
perfect. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like no, I can't play the music because
I,
he was a straight bigot. It's like okay.
I for real, that scene, I fell in love with the movie just because of that scene. I was like, my, they hit the nerve there. Society is stupid like that. And the funniest thing in that, either the main character is bi or she's lesbian, one of the two. So the fact that she defend opposite point than the weirdo that lost his shit over that, it's funny because like she is like not straight, so
Yeah.
I think this is like amazing when writers think about that, when they look at society and they come up with that kind of stuff. Man, I think also the best thing about that movie was really the classroom scene. all the extent of it, and all it built up to the tension at the end, and all she got
Yeah,
fired.
especially the edited thing as well. The whole edited version of it's like I saw that coming, and oh god, because that's exactly real life. What people do. Fuck.
and and,
Yeah.
it's the board meeting was earth breaking because you have seen the full scene, and it wasn't like that. It was cut in a way to place her under a
Yeah.
bad light, you know,
Yeah, and
and
then they're also like, yeah, well, that doesn't matter because it linked to that article. Can you explain that? It's like again, there's like this film was really like interesting to think about because it's like there's no one viewpoint in this. Like either she's innocent with cancel culture, she's guilty, or it's 50-50, and it's like a really interesting. Like it shows you both viewpoints and like separating the art from the artist and just all this shit. And like for example, even the classroom scene, there were like bits in it like that she like did that a lot of people would say is probably like too aggressive and like pretty pretty mean and like fucked up to do with like a young student with like she did like putting her hands on him like when he like was still refusing to play the music and shit and then of course there's a lot of people on Twitter like oh saying negro is racist no matter and even though it's not actually the N word. So like again it's just like again every single little bit in this entire film is just like it's like a puzzle piece. It shows you the full board throughout the film of like everything about like cancel culture and social media and like the topic on it.
I agree. That I think that was the strength of the movie. They got political and they got the politics right, and it didn't want you to preach at you and tell you what to think. And this is one I think politic is handled very well. Because you can do political stuff that makes sense, like this movie. And then you have Supergirl way of doing political stuff where they tell you what to think. Amazing. So, I think the discussion about everything being a transaction for the main character was very interesting because this reflects a lot of celebrity and a lot of people in 2023, you know? So, I think. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, we are back on track. So, the main character is deeply flawed. Like, she sees every exchange as a transaction, you know, and that's very interesting because this is a flaw. This is not a string there. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, again, it shows you both sides. Like again, it's like and with the way she like handles certain like people, it's like a lot of people would be like, oh, well, I mean, that's just how the way the industry is, cycling out people trying to, make a better thing. But then there's other points where other way of thinking, like, I mean, they were kind of indifferent though. There was neither of them were really better. It's like she's just doing it for the hell of it. To always swap out people into like people in poor situations, and it's not as fair to the people losing their jobs. And it's like again, but then again, it also brings you to topic. I mean, should we as outsiders, I mean, like should we really care like with that shit and like also about like somebody how they live their lives? Like should that really matter if like an artist or like a celebrity like and like and when every person in the world is like not perfect and kind of an asshole, like again it really gives you these things to think about.
and that's funny because after watching this movie, I've seen a lot of things other ways. Like, when you only hear about rumors, it's wrong to cancel people. Then you got the Ezra Miller case where never proved that guy is crazy, and like they blurred the line like between rumors and what has been said and what has been proved and seen, you know. And that movie is very important to blur that line, I think. Um, Now the climax is also very good. As much as I like the classroom and everything, like when the character is breaking apart That's amazing. That's the kind of stuff we are looking for on that kind of drama, like the wrestler or Black Swan. Like the last like 30-ish minute, 40-ish minute
Oh
where
yeah.
she started losing her shit, and she does weird stuff like going on stage and smashing someone. Now you mentioned a dream sequence and stuff.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
there were a few. Yeah.
so that stage scene is clearly a dream sequence, right?
What you mean the one near the end, or
When she hit the guy on
no,
stage.
no, 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 that wasn't. No, the dream sequences were the ones where she like what was again sleeping in her bed and it was like all blurry and stuff, or she imagined shit like the in like the lake and catching fire, and then wakes up and there's that like ticking thing on left on and stuff. All the other ones were real. No, that one actually happened. Again, she
So
was
she
like,
really
she
hit
got
someone.
she got yeah, no, yeah. Basically, she got like cancel again. She got like canceled for fucking for that shit. Which yeah, again, and all the shit, bullshit and other things. Yeah, couldn't explain. Like again, there were some things that and again, that's another thing. 50-50. Now, I would say overall, the film more. Again, it's more um against cancel culture than pro, but again, it's really 50-50. Like there were bits of that where she was getting fired after the video leaked in the article,
Yeah.
killing herself after being in her class. Like again, there are bits of that that are kind of weird. It's like, what, you're saying she was trying to like was thirsting after you, really? That's hard to believe with a student, and it's like it makes everybody there raise their eyebrows, like what actually happened, and we don't really get an answer, and that's intentional. It's like, yeah, but yeah, again, so it was that so yeah, she, after doing all the work and finishing the music and everything, she didn't get to and after leading up the whole film from like the intro, didn't get to do the band, yeah, the musical thing in the end. But then she was at the place still, and she heard her exact music she was working on that whole time play, which means that they were still using her music, but they were getting the credit for it. They just pushed her out of it, and the one guy. So yeah, so then she went up on stage and fucking beat him, and then yeah, got like arrested. So that's how that scene played out.
So overall, as I said earlier, I think that was the interesting movie. Despite of pacing, I liked
Yeah,
the
I mean, what did you
experiences.
think of the ending?
The ending was
Yeah.
really good. I like it.
Yeah, again, it basically just like leaves you off of that message. Just like, yeah, how about just stop caring, what people think of you, like during that speech, and yeah, that was nice for the end there.
So, what would
Nicely
be
put.
your grade for this movie?
I would give it at least like a 9 out of 10. So yeah, uh, yeah,
The
this is definitely a 9 or 10 out of 10 film for me, but I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for now. Really loved it, but yeah.
the pacing really hurt my experience. I will give this one 7 out of 10 because pacing, man. 2 hour and 40 minutes when I feel like the movie could have been like 1 hour and 40 minutes instead, or not even that, maybe like 1 hour and a half. Because I do think the classroom stuff is amazing and the ending was really good, but the stuff in between I wasn't a fan. Uh, yeah, so that's my thoughts. Any closing thoughts before we move on?
No, that's about it. But again, this is kind of like what my favorite type of films are to an extent. I just really love like character studies like this, that, and like really like just dark horrors or thrillers like The Lighthouse or other stuff like Black Swan and stuff. That would be my favorite type of film. So yeah, but yeah, that's about it. So are we? Which one are we doing next? Which topic?
The Umbrella Academy second season. What did you think of
Right.
that one?
Ah, well, I will say I yeah, enjoyed it, but um, I think I liked the first season better. I'll be honest. and I don't know if I can quite pinpoint what it is. I just think that I think maybe I wasn't really like a fan of like the climax and the last episode, and that might be it. And in comparison to like the last episode of season one, but and other things. But yeah, I think it was just better done in season one in most areas. But I mean, there were some improvements on season two, and I do think the fighting was actually better in season two. So yeah, but
I
what did you think?
I do think the ending of the second season is much better than the first season
Uh,
because now I can hope for something else than a doomsday. At last.
yeah, well, I'll be honest. I like that they got that over with, and it wasn't just like the whole show for 8 seasons. The thing I don't like about it is just the way how they got to that point. I thought it was really cliche, and I was just like, please, anything but that while watching it, and they went with that, and I'm like, you couldn't have done something a bit more creative than that, solution. But I don't know. That's why I didn't really like it in comparison to like season one, where it's like we just got all that shit breaking down with like seven and everything. So that's why I like it more.
I do think season 2 is also a big step down. After watching season 2, I kind of realized what the show was really about. It's about the characters. They don't really care at all about the story. All they care about is the characters. And I do think in movies and TV shows, the characters are the most important thing. But you still need to think about the story. Because then you end up with this: a very good first season and a very mid second season for me.
Yeah. Basically, you end up with a CW show. You're saying,
Yeah,
besides the good ones.
yeah, exactly. That's what
And you
I.
see, this is like a better CW show. Like again, it's the same thing. It might mainly just focuses on the characters instead of as much with the story for every season. But it is like better done than the majority of CW shows, I would say. Besides maybe like Stargirl, and I do think this is better or equal with Superman and Lois for me personally. But yeah,
I think Superman and Lois is better. After watching the first two seasons, like I think Superman and Lois is better because
yeah,
the pacing is better and uh, the cast is also smaller. Well, actually, it's similar, but because they got more episodes, it doesn't feel that way. In this season, I think Klaus was more forgettable than season one. I'm not saying he's bad; he's just not as good. And I feel like Ben hijacked. He hijacked literally Klaus this season. He outshined him a lot. And I was really bothered by the mother character, the villain, basically, because she's back. Like, they don't want to kill her up because they want to keep the actress around. I'm like, really? Just kill her off. She's not even a good character. And she got
yeah.
worse
I
this
have to agree with
season.
that.
She got
Yeah.
she got worse this season. I'm like, man, unbelievable. Why?
Yeah, now I know what people were saying online about her. I guess it was mainly season two, but yeah. And again, with when it came to Superman and Lois, the only reason why I think is because I just think this is a bit more polished, and also I do think Superman and Lois was just kind of a fluke because I think it follows the same sort of like cues and like paths that every other CW show does and usually fails at. It's just ended up working out because what CW does is usually what a good Superman story is in the comics, like just making it more grounded in certain areas. So, but yeah, I have to agree with you with the mother care. That was like,
And
I don't know what they're doing with that.
I will also say something else, but that's more about of the idea of time travel. I mentioned time travel because I've seen other shows doing time travel, and I think it's very lazy to pick and choose a time period where there was racism, only to have that activist movement, only to have like that anti-racist movement, and I think it was very important in real life, but I don't think it matters as much as in movies and TV shows because we already have seen many times that kind of storyline. Uh, like, I will give a good example: Legends of Tomorrow, a show that went downhill fast. They did the similar thing with feminism, and it's laughable because everyone wants to bring their politics into their entertainment when it comes to time travel. Like, why did
Yeah.
they
Well, I
they,
mean,
they pick
when it comes
the
to that,
60s?
for me personally, when it comes to that, I mean, I wouldn't really care. Like when it comes to like movements like that, I mean, they were big moments in human history, and so were other stuff. So I wouldn't really care as much about that. Again, it's just I would like it if they. It's just the fact that they would. I would like it if they did more. Like moments in time instead of just focusing on just like those ones. And but still, I wouldn't really care as long as it's executed well. But I will say, out of many things I've seen with that stuff, yeah, that thing with them in like the '60s, that was not executed very well in my opinion. That was a little, yeah, that was pretty weak, honestly. And neighbors are fucking yelling, Jesus Christ. But yeah, continue.
I think the racist white people are cliches. They didn't feel like character. They only felt like opposition to the movement.
Yeah, they honestly felt like the fucking villains in Wonder Woman. Jesus Christ.
I fully agree. That's very laughable on that standpoint. And I think it's also very interesting this season because they flipped on your end many character. Like Diego now wants to be the hero, and Luther doesn't want to be the hero anymore. So on that aspect, they did flip on your head characters. They switch role and stuff, and the characters are really good this season. Outside of the freaking mother that I cannot stand, the rest of the cast I think was great. Now the daughter wasn't that amazing. I feel like she wasn't needed and she was just placed there to make a bridge between the mother and the family. But even there, I didn't feel like she was a good bridge. So like she's just better than everyone else because woman. That's how I felt with
Yeah.
that girl
Uh,
because remember Diego, he wasn't able to defend himself at some point, and he wasn't able to defend himself only to showcase that she needed to protect Five. And I was so bothered by it because Diego used to be a good fighter, and that was his thing. Fighting and beating people up, that was his thing. Um,
yeah. I mean, what? Yeah, when it comes to that character, that was a big letdown. Like I said prior to watching it, hopefully get more. Get again with those two characters we mentioned. It get more in season two instead of just like just being there, kind of. And yeah, that didn't really happen. It was.
I also
I mean,
feel
what was it? The worst character for you out of the seven, or because it was for me?
which character?
Uh, well, out of like the 10 or so, again, the
Diego?
daughter character.
Oh, the daughter. Oh, the daughter. The daughter was well. Actually, the worst is the mother, but I think the daughter would be like second or third. She is very low. I think yeah, the mother, then the daughter, and I also don't really like the fact that until the end she doesn't have powers, and then in the last episode they want to give her powers because the plot needs her to have powers. I was really bothered by it because there was no seed earlier, and I just feel like they gave her these powers only to have powers, only to be the best because she has everyone's powers. I really didn't like that aspect of it. I'm like, plant your seed. Let me know in advance she will have powers. Don't just make that one up at the end. Um, Another thing, time travel clusterfuck, as you say. Oh my. Usually, I'm very picky when it comes to time travel, but
For
it.
me, I usually give it leeway, though. I'll be honest, because I'll say right now, and I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you, but I just want to put it out here quickly. With time travel, it's almost impossible to get it right. It kind of is because it's time travel. It's like it's always, there's always going to be loopholes, no matter what. There will always be a loophole, but there's only been like 3 things ever where there really wasn't that I've ever seen in films and TV shows, and I've seen like over 100,000 shit. All
Yeah.
right. So the only thing that I really care about when it comes to time travel is as long as you set up the rules in your own universe again with how your universe works, just like Sin City with the powers, how it works. Then I will not call it a loophole or a flaw because you set up those rules in your universe. That's how it works. Sort of like how if gravity made us float on Earth, even though that's not actually the case. If it was in another universe, then I'll accept it as long as you set it up and it stays consistent with the rules you set up. And
Yeah.
over half of the shit I've seen involving time travel still fails, even in those regards. Way over half of it, so it's like they can never get time travel right for me. And this was another one. This was Jesus, a clusterfuck.
Now, I will say this, a few good example in my mind. Legion. I think Legion did it great. Another good example would be Legends of Tomorrow first season. I mentioned first season because that's the only season that got it right.
Yeah, Legion definitely got it right.
And when it comes to the Umbrella Academy, I feel like my biggest thought process is they should have erased themselves out of existence since they met a new Umbrella Academy that has different name. They changed history. So tell me, how the F they are able to just be there with the other Umbrella Academy? And how come the father survived and he's still around? The more I thought about the season, the worse the season became. Oh my, bro, I'm telling you. Now, another issue, I already spoke a bit about that. Another Doomsday. Like, tell me another story. We already had the Doomsday in season 1. The only big difference is where the character are at. Like, Vanya has no more memory and she, like,
Yeah,
discovers
basically.
herself. But everyone, like, they have the same goal. And I'm like, that's freaking lazy. I want another story. And here again,
Yeah.
just just like season 1, the Doomsday device is Vanya. Again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, really?
Again, I like some bits they did again with the character finding self again, but and I figure that's what it was leading to from like the first scene of the first episode of season 1. I figure that would be the case there. That's why they showed it. But because again, in filmmaking, if there's if there's a reason for like and I've said this a million times, I'll say it again. Like if there's if they show something or intentionally like do something in a scene to make it kind of confusing where you don't know exactly what's going on, and then but then the rest of the show or film stays consistent in how it's like doing it, then it's definitely for a reason. Sort of like how in a horror film, if they don't they show like blood and stuff and a character like screaming and you expect they die, but they show it off camera. It's just like a cutaway of their like shadow, but then every other scene in the film shows it up close with them getting stabbed, and there's a reason for it. Then there usually is. They come back alive. They didn't actually die, and yeah, that was just again. So that was kind of predictable for that reason. But yeah, but I still liked what they did with character there again. But besides that, as you said, the rest of the cast, same goals. It was just, it's like, and I don't understand why they felt the need to do that, because with what they set up as well with certain characters, it's like they set it in the beginning. They set it up where it didn't need to be the case. Like it can be another season one where they're kind of like also achieving mainly other goals, but they didn't do that. It's like they got lazy.
What they could have done is like solve the Doomsday stuff in like the first 4 or 5 episodes, because the episodes are almost all an hour long almost. So you then make another plot for like the last bunch episode you get. That
Yeah, but then you can't make more money off of it. We need to milk it.
and now I will admit something. I do think the three brothers are actually much more interesting than the two assassins we had in season one. The three brothers, man, they are like great. They barely speak, and they have that charisma and that presence on screen just because these are the murderous brothers. They are, I think, the one that carried the show over for me this season.
Yeah, and also you said before that like Ben kind of stole the spotlight from Claus. So did you mean that in like a negative way, or do you mean like you really like Ben this season? Or
I actually enjoyed a lot Ben, but that
yeah, same.
damaged a lot Klaus for me, because Klaus this
Yeah, I mean, why
season,
didn't they just do like 50-50? It's like they really they 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 went overboard with it for sure. They could have evened it out more.
like I felt like this season had no material for Klaus, so they just made him a jerk. So Ben is the likable one, and I think Ben is actually much better this season because he feels much more like his own character because of the times he take over Klaus' body, and just because of his self-sacrifice nature at the end, like to save Vanya and stuff. I do think Ben was much better this season than last season, because I said it last week. In season one, Ben only felt like an extension to Klaus. It didn't feel like his own character. But this season, they course corrected, and that's great for me. That's one of the highlights. So like the winners for this season are the brothers, and I think the second one for me would be either Ben or the telepath girl, the one that gives rumor power. You know,
Yeah, I know.
I
Talking about, I forgot her name, but yeah. What was her name again?
I can't remember either, but I think she was a great character because this season she felt like she learned her lesson to not abuse of her powers. And this is a great character change for me because it bothered me a lot in season one how powerful she was and how she thought she deserved to be that powerful to control people. And her backstory with her daughter is very interesting to hint at a character flaw, because it's wrong what she did to her daughter, but that's telling of a character that bothered me, but not because it's a bad character, it's because it's too good. But this season they kind of correct it by telling you she didn't use her powers for like 2 years, and then because of the riots she used her power again. um I think
Yeah,
now she's a much better character. They kind of fixed her this season.
yeah, I agree, but yeah. Again, I was trying to. I was just gonna say, yeah, this better not happen again with Claws in season 3, because Jesus, that would be exhausting. Because it really just, as you said, it feels like they had nothing for him in this season, so they purposely made him an asshole for no reason again, just so because that's when he talks to him the most, when he's like doing shit wrong and he's trying to give him advice and shit, and yeah, it's like if they do that again, just because they can't think of anything else for him for some reason, just being the comedic character, or because that's the only way in their eyes to get more of Ben than in season 3, then I'm gonna be pretty pissed because that will just be so repetitive.
Now another trash character, the father, the one that was with Vanya, like the father that raised the child, and that you know which character I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know which character you're talking about.
He
Yeah.
is a freaking jerk. I ate the guts out of this character. He started off fine. In the middle of the season, he was still fine. But in the end, when he finds out about Vanya and his wife, this is when he turned into shit. This is when they purposely made that character just a bigot, and when your character is reduced to just being a bigot, I think it's just lazy, and you don't really give any justice to anybody. What did you think of the father?
I mean, there's ways you can execute it well, that I've seen before, and honestly, one, yeah, there are ways you can do it well, and where it's not just like out of the bloom, and if it's like consistent with a lot of stuff in the film, uh, or the show. Yeah, this was not one of those times with the father or whatever character. It was kind of just like She-Hulk level to an extent, with like certain character motives. Honestly, yeah, I think a good way you can execute it is it's different. It's a bit. It's not the same thing, but I mean, just like in a similar light. I think there's this like villain character in this film I saw called Widows, where yeah, I think that yeah, I haven't seen it, so you wouldn't know. But anybody who has, yeah, that's the way to execute that character well. But
What
no,
could be
I didn't.
interesting is you make a bigot character, but you make it a bigot from the get go, and then you changed him through the storyline you are giving him and the characters around that bigot. And then at the end, he is not as obnoxious as a bigot, or he's cured from bigotry. That could be a way to make it right, but if it's the reverse and you start off great and then just because you're not happy with that great character you turn him into a bigot and nothing more, this is when you fail.
I mean, again, I've seen this done before, though, in like many shows and films, and many revolutionary ones with this like type of premise with a character. And again, there are many times you can do it where it's well done. It's just this was not one of those times. It was really just there was like no tonal shift to it. It was just it was just really manipulative, in my opinion, and it wasn't effective. It didn't work for me. It was just annoying, but again, there are ways you can do it right. This is just not one of them. And there was also a yeah. I was going to ask as well. Did you like? So would you say again, it's a bit different. It's more for comedic effect than straight up villain, and didn't change throughout the show at all, and then dies. But I'm just curious. Did you like the one fodder racist fodder character in Peacemaker more than this character?
Actually, I did. I think the
Again, different character because it's more comedic for comedic effects, and just a straight up villain the whole time, and then dies. But still, I just was just
he had
curious.
he had charisma, and this is very interesting because we speak about racist and stuff. I will bring a perfect example of actually the best season of Supergirl. I always thought it was the third season, but actually I was shocked on how good season 4 was. But then you got the really bad season 5 and 6. But that's another topic. But anyway, in season 4, it's all about tolerance and diversity. And one of the big strength against Supergirl is bigotry, and at first the main villain he is called like Agent Liberty, and at first he's just a normal father with student because he's a teacher, and then because a lot of shit going on in his life that ruins his life, and they are all alien related. He started at first to just don't really like the aliens anymore, and then at some point, the kind of apathy he has for the alien turns into some kind of hatred for alien, and then he became a full blown racist toward aliens, and this is like the driving force of that character. Like he wants the humanity to be human again, you know, and that was some kind of arc where he was fine, and then he turned like full of hatred, and I think it was done very well. And at the end, they didn't really redeem the character because he remained the villain. But at the end, he realized he was partly wrong, even if he didn't like became a hero suddenly. He still realized he was just used by other strength outside of himself, and his hatred was really what was driving everything, you know. And this is a very interesting approach. You don't necessarily need to redeem a character, but if you build a good story around him and you make him realize there's something wrong, then that's good. You don't necessarily need to make him change, you know? At the end, he was still a freaking racist and stuff, but he realized it was misplaced and he was only a puppet for someone else. And that's the kind of storyline that works well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So
Yeah, but anyway, I'm about dumb, honestly, with my talk for this show. I don't know. But is there any positives left that you have to say,
I I don't think
or
so.
negatives?
I think the action was actually more entertaining, and I
Yeah, again,
almost
the action was definitely an improvement, but that's expected after they got some, because season one was really setting up, and there wasn't as like much care or effort put into the action scenes outside of like the ones with five, and like those scenes are definitely the highlights. And then of course, with like mainly character set up from when they were children and stuff. So yeah, but that was expected head into season two and probably season three, and especially with like Vanya, whatever, or
yeah.
I mean, new name which will be revealed later. But but yeah, but
But I actually forgot
yeah.
to mention something I liked a lot by the end. Five learning again how to time travel by making baby steps. I liked a lot how he rewind time to stop the mother properly. You know that was actually really good, and they did plant the seeds that maybe instead of doing huge jump like he did so far, he should start small and then grow bigger. You know, and I think him starting to do like small steps like that to eventually have a better mastery over his time travel powers was actually really good. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Again, five is probably my favorite character overall from like the just if we're combining both seasons.
This season, yeah, this season I think five is and still my favorite character because Diego and him were like tied in season one, but now Diego like I liked what they did with him, turning him into more of a hero and someone that wants to be a hero. But I feel like outside of that, Diego didn't got much because he was outshined by his girlfriend that I didn't realize, I didn't like. So I think Diego like role was taken away by other character, and it's really sad because I enjoyed the character a lot. But five after this season, he is now my favorite character. He is amazing. Uh, I just like the character a lot. So what would be your grade out of 10?
Yeah, this is definitely a downgrade, but I still enjoyed it. So I gave the last one like around the 7.5 out of 10. This one I'm gonna give around a 6 out of 10. And again, for your rating system, might be low, but a 6 out of 10 it equals good or
Yeah.
solid to me. So yeah, yeah, good, but definitely a downgrade, for sure.
For me, season 1 was a 9, a strong 9, and this season is a weak 7. I think that season was very average, very mid. Like, it's sad because I feel like the characters are just great, but the story around them is not good enough because we just add the same plot twice with a few change on like the opposition force and stuff, and we had like subplots that are different, but overall it was still the same thing as season 1, just done not as good because it was already done before in the same show. So
Yep, pretty much.
here I will mark down the timestamp. Now, I don't think you have seen it, but I will still ask, have you seen the new Gotham Knight trailer?
Uh, okay, so there were people on streams talking about it that I was watching, and they were about to react to it again on their streams. I didn't watch it though. I just saw bits and pieces of it, but yeah, again, it looks bad once again. It just kind of shows the same stuff that the first trailer did, so it's whatever. But yeah, once again, I'm just wondering, what was that Batman? It looked like he came from like a gay nightclub, and then was like walking down the street and then just like shot by some robber the same way with his parents. That's what it looked like. It's what the fuck was he wearing? I'm being serious. I've seen movies where they like have scenes of like gay nightclubs and stuff, and there's people like dressing up and stuff, and like dancers and stuff, and that suit he's wearing literally looks like one of those with the fucking material and everything. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was a fucking mess, and holy fucking that Joker's daughter character. I'm just like, oh my god, they're trying to go for the fucking the fucking Harley Quinn shit again. I'm like, oh fuck me.
and
It's so cringe.
and this
Harley
is
Quinn is
funny.
cringe.
This is funny because Gotham Knight is made by the same people that made Batwoman, and in Batwoman, I think you have seen the show, right? Did you? Did you have seen Batwoman?
Uh, yeah, and I forgot everything about it pretty much because it was so bad. It was so
Alice
garbage.
was female Joker. She was basically Harley Quinn. And
Fucking hell.
in season 1, she was the best part of the season. She was actually a very good villain for a very bad main character. she was like the peak villain you can get. But then in season 2, she became more of an anti-hero. And by season 3, she is a freaking hero. Even if she killed like a bunch of people and she doesn't deserve to be redeemed, they still went out of their way to redeem her.
Yes, because it doesn't matter because female power, so it's fine. Who cares about the people they killed? Holy fuck. It's like Wonder Woman all over again. Holy shit. Like, hey, this person is a villain and they killed a bunch of people with them and was in on it all with them, but oh, half her face is burnt and she's a woman, so let's let her live. Like, what the fuck? But kill everybody else. That's fine. No, nobody cares about them.
So the Harley Quinn in Gotham Knight will basically start off as being that anti-hero, but trust me, she will become a hero in season 2 if there's any season 2. That show, we will need to roast the crap out of it. It's our new She-Hulk. It's She-Hulk.
Yeah, you see, you would think that they're just making season 1 because they are forced to, and then they obviously won't because CW is like dead now, and it's like, and people are even like curious why they continued with season 1 in the first place instead of just canceling it after the trailer and all that. But again, this fucking company renewed Titans for 4 seasons and other things for multiple seasons, so it makes me think they're just like actually this nuts and fucking also dedicated to complete in their garbage universe where they'll just do at least like around 3 seasons despite everything. But there's just something in my brain telling me that.
Be reassured, Gotham Knight is out in March, the March 14th, and be
Oh my god.
reassured, Superman and Lois season 3 is airing at the same day, I think. So,
Oh wow, I wonder which one's getting more views. If it's Gotham Knights, I'll cry.
I
But yeah,
bet
I
it
guess
will be
we'll watch
Gotham Knight
both.
because it's the first season, and first season are always a fluke. Look at Batwoman. First season did millions. Season 2 and 3 were like 400,000.
Yeah,
After
well, everybody was just hate watching season one. That's why. But now, same thing with Velma, and that's why it got renewed for a second season because it's almost like it's almost like hate watching is fucking retarded and still just supporting the shitty show. And you should watch it on a free movie website if you're going to. Oh my god. But yeah, yeah, we'll watch both, I guess, on the stream. I mean, luckily they're just like one episode each, and that's good because I wouldn't be able to survive watching just a full season of Gotham Knights for 1 week. I could barely do it for Titans, and
But
which,
it
by the way, I don't know when it's coming back.
I've seen a video. I haven't seen the release date because I haven't watched the full video. But I think we have a release date for Titan coming back. But be reassured, it will be a weekly thing because I don't think they will drop the entire season at once. So there's that, like that's topic for like 13 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. After Umbrella Academy, yeah. So let's enjoy this because it's at least not. I mean, again, you don't mind Titans yourself too much. I mean, outside of the odd episode, I guess, but I really hate it. I'm sorry.
I don't think it's amazing. I think season 3 was very average. It was the best one, but season 4 is quite painful for me. I think season 4 is the worst so far.
Yeah, again, people gave season 3 and season 4 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, I
Ow.
understand it's Rotten Tomatoes, but still,
It's shocking. Ow, I don't get it. How did
I
you
don't know.
value this?
At the same time, though, I mean, you have to. At the same time, not every critic in the world watches and reviews stuff. There's a lot of them who just like don't care about certain shit. So that's especially the case with Titans. There's only like around 13 to 40 or 30 like critics, maybe just like 13 who watched and reviewed all of season 3. So maybe just small, sample size of critics is the reason why. And also, again, with the site, you can give something like a 5 out of 10 and we'll still have a fresh review, which, by the way, again, the site is fucking broken when it comes to like fresh or rotten reviews. Like, there's this garbage film that came out recently called House Party. It's a reboot of a old 1990 comedy film, which was pretty good. Mainly black cast, and they rebooted it, and it was just terrible. And it was literally just like every joke in it is like, haha, hey, that's funny. It's a celebrity. Get it? Because it's a celebrity. He's in the film. Ha ha ha. That means it's funny. And some guy on Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 3.5 out of 10. And for some reason, yes, a 3.5 out of 10. And he says this is bad. And for some reason, though, the site counted it as a fresh review.
What? And it's
yeah,
shocking.
so yes,
It's like Shield all over again. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's like I don't know what's wrong with this, but their review system is broken. It's like they count some things fresh, some things broken. It's like again, it's like there's some things that are like it's like somebody will give something like a 2.5 out of 5, which is 50-50, which means it could be fresh or rotten depending how you do things. And some of them they'll count as a rotten review, and some of them they'll count as a fresh review, and a lot of them they count as rotten reviews. Honestly, it's like if you actually read the review themselves, the person writing it likes the film overall more than dislikes it. So it's like the site is just fucking broken how it does things. And that's also how like that gaudy film got that famous 0%, because there were reviews that gave it like a 3 out of 5, but for some reason they counted it as rotten.
Wow.
So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this site is shit. It's broken. But anyway.
So any closing thoughts on Umbrella Academy's second season before we move on to the Goonies?
No, that's about it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, the Goonies. Yeah, I will say, but before on streams, you used to save the best for last, but in these recent ones, it's been kind of the opposite. So I honestly don't know what your opinion is on this but I'm gonna take a guess and say you know, just knowing your taste, I doubt you like this too much, if at all. But yeah, but I will say the reason why because again, I don't just recommend like stuff I think are masterpieces every week. I do mix things up, and again, before we like, I you know, shoved in some things that yeah I might not like, but I did, you know, just to show that, you know, mix things up or to like prove a point with some things. Like for example, Black Swan, we recommended that because after watching She-Hulk, I was like, yeah, you can do a film with that's female focused and actually make it so guys can enjoy it. Then here you go. All right, and
Yeah.
this was another case. So basically, throughout like the 70s to 90s, there used to be a lot of like live action films and like adventure films or action films, etc. Stuff like the Sandlot, you know, a lot of stuff that I'm just like I can't totally think off the top of my head or whatnot. But yeah, a lot of classics. Yeah, E.T. and stuff like that. That they make it for mainly kids or young adults, but adults, they make it so adults and old people of all ages can enjoy it as well. And these days, though, they really don't exist much anymore, if at all. It's just like they're just like, oh, we need to make something for kids. Okay, we'll just like make this worthless pile of trash for babies. There we go. It's like, what the fuck? And it's like they put no effort into it. And it's like stuff like this. And there's a reason why stuff like this is considered like cult classics or yeah, well, not in cult classics nowadays. And because you know, we don't get them anymore. And so I just wanted to show, yeah, you can, you know, do it right. I mean, whether you liked it too much or not, you can at least appreciate it. And yeah, it's not garbage. Like, yeah, you can do it right. And yeah, so I decided to recommend this film, The Goonies. This is yeah, again, an adventure type film for kids. Yeah, with a cast of yeah, young kids. And they, you might have recognized some of their names if you read the cast, but yeah, like Josh Brolin is in this. He was the older male kid. The main character was the guy who's he was the supporting character, one of the four main characters in Lord of the Rings. He was Frodo, Elijah Wood's friend along the way with him in Lord of the Rings, Sam or whatever, and he's done some other stuff as well. And then, you know, the other kid who's in a lot of films back in that time, like Stand By Me and stuff, and Gremlins as a young actor. And then yeah, I believe the Asian kid was yeah, he took like a 30-year hiatus from acting because during that time it was hard for Asian actors, American actors, to get roles. But he was, yeah, but he was in this, and he was the Asian kid in the first Indiana Jones film, which I don't know if you've seen, but yeah, but he returned after 30 years, and he's
Wow.
been in this film, and he started in the first film and retiring from acting for 30 years in his mid 50s in this one film, which we'll talk about later because it's in the award thing. And he's winning like every award for that category now, so that's impressive. But yeah, yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of, you know, recognizable names and stuff in it. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Now, it is not a perfect film, obviously, and again, there's a lot of continuity errors. It's like there's some scenes that like something is playing out, and then there's like an edit, but and then it's like the characters aren't like positioned where they should be, where the first edit was like some continuity errors like that, and again, small nitpicks here and there, and again, not like an amazing film again for young adults. And but overall, I really enjoyed it, and it's a really nostalgic film for me. It's a very basic and safe one, but a really entertaining one nonetheless. Just like The Mummy, it's one of those films that I've watched many times as a child. It is just super, super entertaining to me, and it's something that is just like missing these days. And also, I mentioned before, but yeah, I mentioned before. What was it again? Oh yeah, right. How in it films, it seems like another thing that's missing from film discussions is it seems to be like there in the past there used to be fan bases of films like Star Wars, and they would point out flaws in them and continuity errors, but the fans of it wouldn't care. It's not like they're stop being fans. What they would do is they would do that stuff and notice flaws in them because they're such big fans of it. It's like that's what is being a hardcore fan is. So you can even like point out every small flaw in it and just laugh about it. It doesn't affect their enjoyment out of the film. And this is this is honestly one of those films for me, and something that is honestly missing from film criticism these days to a certain extent, but with like small nitpicks. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I'm curious what I'll talk more about it later maybe, but I'm really curious what what multi-topic thinks of it, if he disliked it more, if he liked it more, because this is really a 50-50 on whether he did or not. So yeah, curious.
So I won't surprise you at all there. Yes, this is a somewhat weaker movie than Tar, but that's the last one I've seen after Tar, because I was like, Tar looks more interesting, and I almost watched both the same days, but after Tar I was too burned by the pacing, so I decided to watch Goonies the day after. But the Goonies was a breath of fresh air despite the flaws. I think it was a very entertaining movie. I do think I was much more entertained by this one than Tar. Even if Tar is a better movie, I think the Goonies is more entertaining. I think that was the point of the Goonies.
Yeah. And again, do you know the people attached to this? Like, there's a lot of legends attached to this.
I
Again,
don't.
like Chris Columbus wrote it, and he's the guy who did like a bunch of stuff like the Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
Richard Donner directed it. He like did all the Superman films and many other stuff like the Deadly Weapon films, the original Superman films. Steven Spielberg, I believe, wrote or produced it as well. Like, there's a lot of like big names attached to this
Steven
when it
Spielberg is
comes
the
to like
only
this
one
stuff.
I knew.
Yeah. Yeah, story by Steven Spielberg. Yeah, music by Dave Grusson as well. Like, there's a lot of names attached to this. It's was pretty collaboratory with a lot of legends.
So let's start off with my issues, as usual. It was too easy to break out of prison. It's laughable. The kid
Ah,
thinking it's a good idea to go back in the basement later on after they already went there, they realized they were psychos.
well, hold on, wait. What basements? Oh, yeah, right, that one. Yeah, yeah. It's because well, I will say the second one, yeah, because they saw them leave, so they thought maybe again what I say with this film is, again, they're kids, so they do stupid shit, and they did throughout the film. That was also part of the running joke. And since they're kids, you can, it's not like it's just a plot point. I mean, that's how kids are. So, yeah, they thought, they saw them leave, so they thought they had enough time. Let's explore, because that is where the map says the treasure is. And, yeah, I mean, uh, what was it again? They said, yeah, like when they were shoving the body in the car, It's just old grocery. It's this old, compost. Yeah, 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 yeah. And then what was the prison breaking out scene? I think that was definitely easy, and I think that's definitely one thing you mentioned nowadays. Yeah, that wouldn't work as well. But it was an older time period where prisons were easier to break out of. Like notoriously, older years were easier for prison escapes, way easier, and it was like a shithole, like kind of place. Again, it's like the goon locks, so that I think it was kind of like set in the pace there, kind of, and also just to show you that word, like these idiot criminals are like a master game because of this goon locks is just like, yeah. So that's what I got out of it, but yeah,
Next
continue.
up, too many characters. I mean, it's a 2 hour movies, and there's like 10 characters. I think that did affect me on latching on any character. I think my favorite was the oldest one because he felt the most different to the others, and maybe the fat one because the fat one was very entertaining and the fat one became a friend with the Goonies. But you see,
Yeah.
these are the only two. I didn't care about the two girls, and the others, like there's that Chinese guy that has all of these gadgets. I will get back to him later.
Yeah,
uh,
well, I really liked him. I mean,
um, now, next up, how convenient the fat one bumped into the villain when he wanted to speak to the sheriff. Very convenient. Very, very convenient. Later on, when the criminal go after the kids, they cannot aim with their guns because they cannot kill kids. But why do you give a gun to these criminals if they cannot aim? I mean, I'm not saying kill the kids. I'm just saying don't give him gun. You know.
yeah, well, again, they showed they're kind of clumsy criminals throughout the whole film, and that's part of the joke. Like, and with the whole town being such a clusterfuck that those guys are considered mastermind criminals. And in the first complaint, again, what was it again? The one before that you mentioned.
Oh, the fat kid bumping into them.
Yeah, again, I think that's just again part of the joke with like how ridiculous of a coincidence it is. But yeah, again, if you don't really care as much for like humor scenes like that, and it's like if it's not like if it's still far fetched, then yeah, I get that part. But yeah, and also with the having too many characters, I mean personally, oh hold on, I closed my thing out. Okay, there we go. Personally, I think they actually did a great job spreading out each character and giving them enough screen time and showing each of them. Besides maybe one character, and that's one of the female characters. Definitely could have maybe done without the one with the glasses.
Yeah,
But that's about it for me personally,
I
at
think
least.
she was the worst character.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's easily the most forgettable. But even then, she still brought something. But all the others like very memorable, and they all have like a unique style, unique style, and are very rememberable.
Yeah.
Memorable for me personally. But yeah,
So
so I believe everyone is actually still alive who starred in this film. It's like over 40 years later or something.
that's good.
Besides one person, the guy who played like the imp or whatever, or whatever you call him, character. Yeah, Sloth. Well, Sloth is his name, but yeah, yeah, he was like a football player who played him. Yeah, he's dead. He died, years ago. But besides that, I believe they're all still alive, and all of them are still acting one way or another. And a lot of them are, again, as I said, very successful still in the industry. Besides one, Chunk. That yeah, this was like his only film role, and then he kind of retired from acting, and now. However, he's a very famous legal representative and author now. He's done a lot of famous stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So next up, um, how convenient the kid has so many gadgets for everything. Like the slippery boots, the grapple when he's about to get killed by spikes. You know, he has every gadget the plot wants him to have. That about him.
Well, I mean, I would say he mainly has like four gadgets because yeah, he has like he has the one gadget they showed at the start of the film, which keeps getting him into trouble. Then they have the shoe stains, and then he has like mainly
The
the
glove.
yeah, the glove stain, and then the lights. That's about it. But I mean, so not too many, just four, and they're kind of like ludicrous gadgets where just like thought of for different reasons, and then they come into some use with the plot. I think it was well positioned personally, but I do get what you're saying. Like for the plot, like whenever the plot needs it, but yeah, but I do think the way they executed that character though, just it made me like forgive that small nitpick because the character is really entertaining for me personally, at least.
It is
Probably like my
entertaining,
favorite.
but it's still
Yeah, he's
plot
probably
issues.
like my favorite. Yeah.
um, so yeah, that's it for my issues. I do think the movie was very funny. The whole sequence where the kid does fake translation was hilarious. I think that was probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. The kids breaking stuff in the restricted area was fine. I do think the lore exposition is fine as well. The music, I like the music a lot.
Hmm.
Uh, the kids going on the island, the basement scene. Even if I thought that was really stupid for them to go back, I did enjoy a lot of the basement scene. Funny again, entertaining, funny. The characters are likable, even if there is too many characters for me. I do think they were still very likable. The liar is hilarious because when he tells the truth, nobody believes him, and that makes sense because he's a liar. um, the big guy, the ugly one, I think he was the most interesting part of the movie um, because he could be seen as a villain, but he's actually a good guy. And this is why his family of villains didn't really take care of him because they are villains and he's a good guy, you know? And I really like that. And what is very sad and diminishing is the fact that at the end he survived when they could have all died. Like, well, I mean, the kids could run away, but it could have left a bigger impact if the giant died with his family in the kind of mountain, you know. That could be a very dramatic ending, but that could be interesting, like him sacrificing himself for the kids, if you know what I mean. But regardless, I think the big guy was really entertaining and likable. The ending, I still liked it, even if I would have changed a few things. Uh, so yeah, what did you think of the big guy?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, my thing closed again. But yeah, really funny as well. Again, and loved like the climax scene with him, and yeah, the ending. Yeah, really. Oh yeah, right. And the fucking chain scene again. Like some people would say, maybe like a little bit of a nitpick. Like really, that's how he gets out of the chains. But again, it was pretty funny comedy, and I think that's what it's going for. And yeah, I mean, I don't really mind. Again, it's a comedy, so as long as it's like not too far fetched, it's all for like that. I don't really care too much when it comes to comedies, as long as it's like creative, not like She-Hulk.
yeah. I do think overall it was very funny, and She-Hulk writers should have seen that movie to understand fun. so they could
Hmm.
implement it on their show.
Yeah.
So I do think it was a 6 out of 10 for me, and among the six I gave, I think it's my favorite one. I like that one much more than Martyr.
Hmm.
What would be your
Yeah.
grade?
My grade would be around like a 7 or 8 out of 10, around that area. But yeah.
Any closing thoughts on the Goonies?
Well, yes, I will say. So this is very rare. Weird. I don't know if it's still happening, but it's still scheduled for fucking 2027. But yeah, but they've been trying to do this for a while. They're actually trying to 40 years later make a sequel to the Goonies, and with this and with almost all of the same actors besides the people who besides like the one or two who like haven't acted for like decades, such as Chuck. They're actually trying to with them as like 50-year-old adults and shit. What is your thought? What is your thoughts on that? And do you think that can actually turn out well at all?
It depends on what they do. Uh, like Blade Runner, they did a sequel many years later, and I did like Blade Runner, the second one, much more than the first one. So I think it depends on what you do, and if they do it right, that could be great. But if they do it wrong, then don't do it. That's the way I see it. Do it right, or don't do it. Don't try to do the same thing. Like if you try to do the same thing, it will just feel like a pale copy of what the other one was.
Yeah, I mean, it would basically be like a legacy sequel. I mean, with them as adults, it would basically be like, again, what they did with Top Gun Maverick with Tom Cruise, like fucking 40 years later. So it would be a legacy sequel, I guess, with whatever they would do. But yeah, very weird. But I mean, we'll see what they do. And like Josh Brolin's like 54 years old, and the rest of the cast is around in their around like their fucking 40s or 50s, I think.
Late 40s, early
Yeah,
50s,
like
probably.
yeah, like the Asian kid's like 51. But again, and again, I don't know if we'll like if you want to give it a chance, we can. But like around like 30% or the films or something is in subtitles, so I don't know. But
Oof,
again, the
no.
Asian kid in it again took a 30-year break from acting, came back, and was in this film, which we'll talk about, I guess, soon in the stream, I guess, again. But yeah, and then been just winning every award for it, I guess, for at least that category. So, but yeah, we'll see, I guess.
So, any other closing thoughts on the Goonies?
No, that's about it, really.
So I enjoyed the movie overall, even if I only gave it a 6. For me, it's mediocre, but it's not bad mediocre. It's just mediocre because for me 7 is average, and 6 is still a respectable grade. Like you passed the test. Um, so with that being said, I will let you take over the Golden Globe topic.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, yeah. So basically, yeah, Golden. Some award shows have been happening recently, and I decided, why not we just, even though you might not know it, much of them, let's just, review them, look at them quickly before the stream ends and see what we thinks. But mainly, yeah, the I don't know if we'll do the Critics' Choice Awards, but yeah, I think we're just gonna do it for the BAFTAs, the Golden Globes, and the Oscars when they happen, because those are like the main ones that people look at, and yeah, just see what you have to think, what you think of it, I guess. But yeah, so this is the they also did this for like TV shows and stuff if you want to look at it. But yeah, I'll like send you the
The link.
on. I'm just looking at like I'm finding a list for it right now. Basically, okay, I believe this is the list that shows pretty much everything. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm gonna send it to you on Twitter because I have to send it on my PC. But yeah, so this is the link to the whole thing there, and you can scroll to the very bottom of it to the last one where you see the last one being best supporting actresses in a limited or anthology series or TV movie. You can just scroll through the last one there and then like screen share your thing on Discord, and we can just look at it for a bit, and you can just go by quickly any you don't care about. But yeah, I mean you haven't really seen much, so but yeah, I just thought maybe you could look at it and stuff you have seen in that one or whatnot or was nominated. You can tell me your thoughts or whatnot, or my thoughts, like what we think. And
Yeah.
any that, did win or was nominated that might interest you, maybe we'll give a try,
I'm
after
trying
seeing
now.
this.
Okay,
Yeah,
so do you
because
see,
there are stuff on here.
do you see what I see?
Yes, yes, I see on Twitter. Yes, so basically just click it, the link.
Do you follow us right now? Or
Oh yes. Basically, yeah, just click the link.
I already clicked, so you don't follow. So maybe I should screen share something else, like
Oh
the
no,
right
like
one.
I saw your thing there. I think you did it open up on another tab. I mean,
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
this
basically just
is.
screen share like the tab, basically.
Do you see what I see?
Yes, I see that. Yes, I see that. So basically, you can just scroll down to the very bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, to basically when there's best, and then go up a little bit. You can go back up, and stop. Yeah, it basically starts right there. So, I mean, yeah. Mainly, let's see what you think with some stuff. If you've at all seen any of this, and we can discuss this, or any of them here. You know, if they interest you in potentially watching for a future stream,
What
then let
is
me know.
what is the White Lotus?
Oh
Like
yeah, the
a quick
White Lotus
summary.
is kind of like a the White Lotus, honestly, hard to explain, and I don't want to go into too much, but I will say it is a great show. It's kind of like a bit of like a mystery type thing and a murder thing, which in like the latest season, but yeah, it's kind of like this these characters in this like resort thing, and they have like certain issues, a lot of like a lot of like character studies with them, and it's a good drama and a good comedy, and yeah, a lot of like murder mystery elements to it. Really enjoyed it. But yeah,
Uh,
you can basically scroll up anytime, I
I
guess.
have you seen the entire thing so far, or only a few episodes?
Oh, I've seen the entire thing. Yes, I would recommend it if it's your thing. But yeah, I mean, I would also recommend that Dahmer miniseries on Netflix if you've heard of it.
Which
But
one?
yeah, honestly, I mean, they're in the nominees, and
Oh, the
it
second
also
one,
won an award for.
Dumber
Yeah, well,
Monster.
yeah, yeah, it's won some awards, I guess. Well, won for lead actor, I guess, in a limited or anthology series. But yeah, I mean, basically,
This
we
is
can just
funny.
scroll up honestly to the films.
This is
I'll
funny
actually tell
because
you where the films are at.
the only actress I know in these four is Aubrey Plaza because of Legion.
Yeah, Legion. Yeah. Basically, you can scroll up until it says TV awards, and basically the one after that, it starts with the films. So, but hey, if any of these like TV shows you see, interest you, we can watch them for a stream. None of them are like comic book shows, but yeah,
What
like Better
is
Call
Abbott
Saul and Breaking
Elementary?
Bad are pretty amazing.
Abbott
Uh,
Elementary.
But Elementary is kind of like a sitcom type show.
Oh
A
my
bit.
no.
No, it's good. It's just I don't think it's your thing.
No, I ate sitcom.
I would say the Bear I think might be your thing. It's a pretty great drama about like a guy trying to like run a fucking restaurant business and holy fucking and it's pretty funny as well. Oh, there's this one scene where where he accidentally drops a bottle of Xanax in a drink thing, and all the kids drink it, and then they're all asleep, and he's like, that's weird. Why are they all asleep? He's like, oh shit, and he's like to the father at the birthday party, don't kill me. I accidentally dropped a bottle of Xanax. He's like, are they all dead? It's like, oh no, I think they're just sleeping. He's like, actually, thanks. I kind of like this more peace and quiet.
All of these names, I don't know anybody.
Oh yeah, no, you can scroll up. Honestly, you're not gonna know any of the TV shows. You can scroll up until it
Jenna
says
Ortega,
TV awards.
that sounds familiar.
Oh yeah, Jenna Ortega is from the recent X film, that film, the recent Scream film. Was in that Wednesday show. Was in some stuff. So yeah.
So I heard mixed thing about Wednesday. Have you seen Wednesday?
Yeah, it was all right for me personally. Yeah, but
Because we all know the
yeah.
anti-woke will ate the crap out of it, but I
For sure. But
I also have a friend that liked the original movie and he was puking at the idea of the new one. So
yeah,
that's why I heard
like honestly,
things.
out of all the things, you might like Barry or the Bear the most out of all these shows. But yeah. Anyway, you can keep scrolling up, I guess, until it says TV awards, or you can keep looking at it if you want.
Zendaya, what the fuck?
Listen, listen, and that was bullshit. Let's not discuss that. That was
no.
Euphoria is the most overrated show I've ever seen, and her performance is the most overrated thing I've ever seen. If you want to know who should have actually won in this category, Laura Linney for Ozark should have won.
That's so unfair, bro.
No, it's like actresses these days. They win awards and people think they're good. It's like just because they're trendy, not because they actually deserved it. And also that is bullshit as well. Better Call Saul should have won that award. That was some bullshit. And the guy didn't show up because the Golden Globes is a shit show getting canceled.
Okay, so best musical or comedy. So how about one? Okay.
Yeah, pretty
think
good.
It it?
I think it's the second best there. I don't think it's better than the Bear, but okay.
We could actually take a look to the Bear eventually.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, it's up to you. But yeah, and then this, the best drama series, I guess. Yeah, the White Lotus or whatever one, I guess. I mean, yeah, it's either that or. Yes, I do. I mean, it's that or Blackbird, but yeah, I agree with that one. And then this one, I do not agree with at all. It was a great first season, but it is not Ozark or Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul should have won that easily. That is some fucking bullshit right there. But and so now, a Better Call Saul has officially been nominated for around 80. And you did not hear that wrong. 80 Emmys and Golden Globes,
wow.
and have not won a single one.
Wow.
Yes, and it is an amazing show. It's like a spin-off of that Breaking Bad show everybody talks about. I don't know if you've seen that.
I've seen the first 2 seasons. I dropped out after.
Well, I mean, I love Breaking Bad, but yeah. But yeah, and it's amazing spin-off as well. But yeah, bullshit. Anyway, you haven't seen, I'm sure, any foreign films, but out of all these, I would say Decision to Leave should have won. But Argentina is also an amazing film. So yeah, it's basically kind of like a court drama. Best way to describe it. But anyway, animated film, I do think the second choice there was better, but this would probably be my runner-up, so no issue. But yeah, I don't think you've seen any of these. All I'll say is, yeah, all I'll say is all of them here deserve their spot besides Turnin' Red, which is literally just there because every year these voters don't actually care about animation or treat them as actual films. They just treat them as kid films. A lot of voters, so they always just vote for whichever one Pixar made or whichever ones their kids watch.
Wow.
And that's the Turnin' Red nominee right there because they're like, oh well, Pixar made it, let's just nominate it. And it almost won, but luckily it didn't. Anyway, original song, yeah, that was surprising. It's an Indian film. It's like the first Indian like Bollywood blockbuster film that's been blowing up and making people check out blockbuster films in Bollywood more, I guess, which is some dumb. It's some dumb fun, but yeah. Honestly, I'm honestly just glad that that the songs Rihanna and Taylor Swift made in this didn't win because which is probably going to happen at the Oscars though, sadly, because yeah, fuck my life, but yeah, because basically these songs are so manipulative and generic in Black Panther and Where the Crawdads Sing.
That's
but just because famous people, yes, just because famous artists made them, they're in the running to win. Just because of that. So I'm kind of happy that RRR won.
When I've seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I was like, oh, that should be manipulative crap from Disney because Disney cannot generate emotion anymore.
Yeah, like that is genuinely one of the most generic manipulative songs I've ever heard. It is so generic and it's trying to make you cry, but it's so pathetic. It's so desperate to try to make you cry. You're just like, what is this shit I'm hearing? Just like it's embarrassing. And then anyway,
it's Disney.
Yeah,
and they lost the will to do good stuff, I think.
Yep. Yeah, Babylon won. Yeah, so this was musical score. If you don't know what Babylon is, it's basically like a film that's kind of like about it's like a high-paced adrenaline film, sort of like The Wolf of Wall Street, kind of just like going crazy. It's about like Hollywood and like the drug phase, honestly, and everybody just fucking doing drugs and partying and free. And it was pretty good, but yeah, I had a lot of issues with it. The director of it though made other films like Whiplash, and La La Land, which I really loved. I honestly might recommend Whiplash for another stream on the same stream we do The Whale, because it was pretty amazing. I'll definitely write that down for a future stream, but yeah, Babylon is probably his weakest film yet, though. But yeah, and then as for this award, no, it was not deserved. Out of these, I would say the best is either Alexandre Desplat or Carter Burrell. But that's just me. You did not like the score in the Banshees, so you would disagree with that. I mean, I did, but
just by seeing the names, I'm like, maybe Del Toro did something good.
Oh yeah, the score is beautiful, and that again, Desplat is really good at making musical scores. Yeah, okay, and then this one's a little bit cut off. The other two, other two are above, but yeah, there's those three ones, and then that one, and then the winner for best screenplay. And do you think this is deserved?
Tar is more deserving, I think.
I mean, for screenplay, I mean, I like the Banshees of Inisherin personally more, but as for screenplay, though, Tar might be better for screenplay. FYI, write-in. It's between those two, though, and then also Everything Everywhere All at Once. The other two, not so much. But
I've heard good stuff about Everything Everywhere at Once, but
yeah, again, it's like
there's subtitles. So
yeah, again, though, it is a lot of it. A lot of it is English. It's like 30% subtitles. So I mean, if you want to like fight through it as you did with like Incendies just one more time to see a film that's being praised as like a masterpiece, and yeah, you can. Up to you.
Best
if not, then understandable.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, I would say definitely Tar or Banshees, though, definitely. But Yeah, either one, up to you. But yeah, deserved for the most part. And then for director, not deserved. Okay, so again, it depends if you want to watch like these films that are in award one running, before the Oscars. If you want, then I can recommend more of them, like the Fablemans and Elvis and stuff. I guess, and we can do that if you want. And I can hold off, recommending David
Maybe more
Fincher's
Fableman.
filmography.
Fableman
Yeah,
works better than Elvis because Elvis, we already have seen many things about Elvis, and I don't feel the need of seeing another one.
yeah. Well,
But that's
maybe
just
we
me.
can do it, but yeah, we'll see. But maybe I'll like do that for the next weeks and hold off recommending the other stuff. I guess maybe I'll do that. But
I've
yeah.
I've
But when it
also
comes to the Fableman, so I don't think this is deserved. I'll be honest. And I'll tell you why this one. This is a film that's pretty much like based on Steven Spielberg's childhood and how he got his love to being a filmmaker.
wow.
That's basically, and with his parents and everything. That's what the film's about. And for me personally, I liked it overall, but I don't get the hype for it that a lot of people, are. I honestly think it's kind of like Oscar bait and just like generic in a lot of air. Like, I did not get the emotion other people did out of it. I thought it was just like bland in a lot of areas and also like overproduced. And however, and I do think that the direction in Everything Everywhere All at Once and the Banshees of Inisherin are way better. But the reason this one was basically because of what it's about. And so, it was like, it's like fucking 60 years in the making. He's like an 80-year-old man, and this was like in his childhood, and he wanted to do this film and had this story since, growing up, and then finally did it, afraid he wouldn't be able to get to, and, accurate, showing his like life like this. That's basically why they gave him this award, because, just out of honor, out of what he did, instead of actually being the best director, at least in my eyes, because I definitely don't think he was the best, but that's just me. To be fair, though, they did go to a lot of locations throughout the film, and it was a long film. They did more in those regards than the other films. So, maybe you would disagree, but I do think, the direction wasn't perfect, though, at all. But, yeah.
So I've heard mixed things about Avatar: The Way of Water. Have you seen it?
Yes, it's basically, overall, it's an alright film, but yeah, it's basically, it's old technology. It's like a visual effect galore, and then not so much with the other stuff. Like, it isn't bad film, but it's just like, yeah, it's mainly just for the, the visual effects, and all that stuff. Just appreciating the crafts, not so much with like the story and everything.
It lasted
Yeah, I
three
guess.
hours based on what I've heard.
Yeah,
So
I
is
guess.
the
Well,
pacing really
yeah.
slow?
Uh, Depends if you're into it or not. If you're into the experience. If you're not so much, then it can feel really slow, and there's a lot of repeating storylines in it. But
Oh, okay. No, thanks. I skipped that
but
one
if
then.
but if you're invested, we'll watch it eventually, I guess, if we want to do this. But if you're invested into what this film is showing, then other people won't care as much about that, because of, the visual effects and just like the world building, like learning about like the universe more, like in the first film, which is kind of outdated. But yeah. It's about the same as the first film. It's just all right. It's not bad as some people say, but yeah,
So I'm
we'll see.
actually
But
curious about Fablemans. Maybe we
yeah,
could cover it next week, actually.
yeah. I mean,
With
we could
another
cover
movie.
all these. It's just up to you, I guess.
So pick another movie, but I think we will cover Fablemans as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We can
next
do
up,
that, I guess. I'll do that for these upcoming weeks, I guess. Anyway, next up. Okay, so this made me want to jump off a fucking cliff. So this is this is the So here's the
No.
thing. This is a weak year. This is a weak year for supporting actresses, I will
Bruh.
admit. But
Bruh.
even with this being a weak year for supporting actresses, all right, all of the other options, like let's just go through some of them here. Not like Carrie Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, Dolly DeLeon, Carrie Mulligan, even some that weren't nominated like Sadie Sink and Han Chao and The Whale. Like they are, even with it being a weak year, they all did a great job. Um, and then, but because it's a weak year, and for some reason they can't just give it to one of those great performances instead. What do? They give it to yeah, okay. So I will say one thing, they were really trying to give a lot of diversity out during with like award season at this Golden Globes, because if you don't know, last year and the year before they didn't stream the Golden Globes on TV. It was a closed off thing because they got pretty much canceled and pulled off of NBC because they found out that every single one of their voters in their jury were white. So they
Wow.
got canceled. Yes,
That's
which is pretty.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
What the
that is
fuck?
ridiculous actually. So they got canceled for it. Luckily, they've been make some changes now. A little too late, but yeah. But because of that, though, they decided, okay, well, we need to try to make it look like we're progressive now. So let's just go to the extreme. So because of stuff like this, it's a weak category. They give it to somebody who just now. In fairness, all right, I will say Angela Bassett was probably like the best performance in the film. I won't lie. That and like the villain character. I won't lie. But that's a low bar. That's just being solid or good. And you're comparing that in a baby MCU film to real performances like this that have far more variety in their performance, like Carrie Condon or Dolly DeLon or Jamie Lee
It
Curtis, even though I don't even think they're that good, and you fucking pick her
it's
just because.
it's insulting, man.
Yeah, like
I
this is honestly one of the few times that make me go, you know what? Maybe geeks and gamers actually have a point. This is like this is one of those times that make me say this shit.
This insulting because look, I don't know how Angela Bassett was because I have not seen Wakanda Forever. I've only heard mixed things about it. It's not a great movie based on what I've heard, and
No, it is a mediocre film, but it's getting
and
overpraised just because of the hype production they put into it, and with his death, with the hype there, it is not good though. It is very sloppy.
as much as I wasn't a fan of Banshees of Inisherin when I've seen it, I did like Carrie Condon in it a lot. I think she was one of the best parts of that movie. And when I see that list, that's the only movie I've seen in that list. So maybe I'm biased because of that, but I do think she deserves it much more than someone in a Marvel movie in freaking 2023
Yeah.
or 2022 in that case.
Yeah, 2022. Yeah, these are all 2022.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, this is complete and utter bullshit. And if she wins the Oscar, which she's actually in the running for doing because she also won the Critics' Choice Award, then I'm gonna fucking cry because this is bullshit. Now,
and
I'll be completely honest. None of them deserve to win here. There are better choices that are just not getting nominated this year because they're just not Oscar bait performances. There are better ones that are just not even on this list. But there are still. But out of the nominee list though, they're literally all of them. I'd pick over her. All of them.
and even there, like Glass Onion, I wasn't the biggest fan of what they did with
Yeah,
especially
but yeah,
Gwen,
she
but
was way better. She was way better.
the
She
supporting cast was still better than
yes.
the average
Yes,
supporting cast.
yes. Even though I wasn't a huge fan of Glass Onion, the female supporting actress in that, I forgot her name, but she had to do way more in her film and have way more like that is a challenging role to do, to like play the to play a character like you're pretending to, and like throughout the film like that, and then like halfway through with that reveal, and then she doing all that. That is a tough character to play and get that is. And she's not even in the running for any awards, but they give this bitch the win. It's just you. There were like 20 supporting actresses I can think of in films this year that are better.
Yeah, and I will go further with this. Even the Batman had Zoe Kravitz in March, and I do think Catwoman was amazing in that movie.
Oh yeah,
She
even she was better actually.
like
Like Angela Bassett literally did not have much to her performance outside of like manipulative emotions, and it was the same one-dimensional emotions, and she kind of just stood there like whatever. Like there was not that. Like again, best performance in the film because there were a lot of disappointing performances, especially the lead performance. Letitia Wright fucking sucked. I'm sorry, anyway, best performance in the film. But holy fuck, it was not much still. Like, yeah, as you said, even fucking Zoe Kravitz, I would pick genuinely. I mean, the only thing you would have against it is that maybe she didn't get much screen time as
or she's
Catwoman.
white.
well, whiter, we'll say, but
Okay, next up, and everything, everywhere, all at once.
yes. This is the Asian kid from the Goonies, and I don't know if you saw Indiana Jones 1. Have you before
No,
the first Indiana
actually,
Jones?
maybe I did many years ago, but I can't really
Well, do you
remember.
remember? Do you remember like the young Asian kid who was with the main character in the first Indiana Jones? Because he was also him in that. But
I can't remember. Maybe we
but
could
anyway,
cover
yes. But yeah,
Indiana
this
Jones
was
eventually.
yeah. Yeah, so again, I mean, if you want to watch this film eventually, despite the subtitles, we can do that. But yeah, again, 30-year break from acting because he was mistreated by Hollywood, got no roles just because he was Asian American, and the only roles those actors usually get are like cliche Asian characters, during that time. So he quit from acting despite loving it. Took 30 years, was still in the film industry, but behind the scenes. Then there was like films that came out like Crazy Rich Asians and stuff, which made him say, you know what, I'm going to take another shot at this. And then he got the phone call to be in this film, his first role since returning, and is winning every supporting award right now. So yeah, that is a great to see. It's similar to Brendan Fraser, after that long hiatus and then returning for that award-winning performance. There's actually like I believe a speech online if you want to watch it and screen share it.
Yeah, after
Or
that
you can do so.
we could see it after that.
Yeah, we can see that after we go through these. But yeah, I mean, out of these, I mean, would you say any of the performances from Banshees is probably better, or would you say no? Just if you had to guess, like, did you
If I
like
had to
any of
guess,
these?
yes. I will admit, like, even if I didn't really like Banshees, I do think the cast was great. Uh,
Yeah.
the actors were well chosen, so that's really other stuff. My issues with the movie. So I guess Kwan was fine, but maybe he is also another diversity hire, But or I should say maybe a diversity choice.
No. Trust me. He was he was amazing. He's best of the year. Trust me, in my
Okay,
opinion, at least.
I trust
And,
you.
and again, that the film is again Asian American actors in it. They speak like Chinese and English in the film, like
Yeah.
30 or 40% Chinese, and then 60 or 70% English. So. Again, we'll see if we eventually watch and review it, or
Man,
if we don't
Anya
because of the subtitles.
Taylor-Joy. Man, bruh. I don't know if she's
Yeah.
considered lead or freaking supporting, but I will
Yes. Well,
say this.
there are different categories in the lead.
Oh,
There's
best
musical,
actress. Yeah.
comedy, and drama. Yeah, there are musical and or comedy
Okay.
lead categories for male and female, and then drama lead for male and female. And this is musical or comedy for each of them. And me personally, I do think the Michelle Yeoh deserved it. I mean, again, if you watch the film, but yeah, that's just me.
I've heard good stuff, so I think you're right on that.
Hmm. I mean, so yeah, I'm sorry, but what were you gonna say about Anya Taylor-Joy?
I'm surprised she didn't pop up before, but you explained why. You explained there are different uh category, so I guess
Yeah,
that's the reason.
yeah. Honestly, I'll be surprised if she even gets a nominee for an Oscar. I think the race is too stacked. I think the nominees might go to I think it will go to Kate Blanchett, Viola Davis, Michelle Williams, Michelle Yeoh, and then probably it might go to that actress from Till, I would believe. So I think she'll just miss the cut, but we'll see. But anyway, best actor. Yeah, for me, I think this was deserved, but I mean, up to you. I mean, you
Uh,
haven't,
so I've
you
seen
only
three.
seen Ralph Fiennes as well.
I've
Oh, yeah,
seen.
actually, yeah, you've seen three.
Yeah, I've seen three out of. I've seen the menu. I've seen Glass Onion and Banshees. So out of my order of preference, as much as I didn't really like Glass Onion as much as Knives Out, um, I still liked a lot Daniel Craig performance despite the bad material he was given. I do think he carried what he could carry on his shoulders. So I would pick Daniel over Colin Farrell, but I would pick Colin Farrell over Ralph. Ralph is my least favorite of the three. So Daniel Craig would come up on top for me, but I still see why Colin Farrell would get the role. You know, like he's still very good. It's just my least favorite. Well, actually, he's more in the middle. Um, so yeah, I get it. It's deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, he's number one, and then I'd probably do number two. I'd probably go Ralph Fiennes, and then Adam Driver, Daniel Craig, and then Diego Calva. So yeah, and we'll watch Babylon eventually, I guess. Again, we'll just watch all these before Oscars, I guess, if we can.
Yeah.
Guess that will be the new thing. So yeah, so actually, the other two I sent you in DMs. We'll hold those off as well for now. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll just put those in on the back burner, I guess. But yeah, and with White Noise with Adam Driver, I will say, yeah, I that won't be one of them I'll recommend because I doubt it will get any nominees. It's just a Golden Globes thing, I think. But yeah, I did enjoy the film, but it is very polarizing. A lot of people hate it. It is like one of those artsy, confusing like films. So yeah. Anyway, so Best Picture, yes. So this is the one I really wanted to see your reaction to,
Well,
because the band.
I think it deserves it over Glass Onion, and like between the two, I'm sure like
Well, you
it's
did enjoy Glass Onion more, but you don't think it's as well made, or?
yeah, exactly. I enjoyed more Knives Out, but I think it was more of a popcorn flick than a good movie. You know.
Hmm.
In the other end, Banshees, even if I wasn't a fan of it, I still think it was well done. It's
Yeah,
not like
I
it's
get it.
more the
If you ever have the
execution of
free
some
time,
things.
though, I will say if you ever have the free time, though, I would like look up some like certain YouTube videos like analysis or like reviews like character studies explaining the Banshees of Inisherin because again, if it's not your thing, that's fine. But I do think it's worth like giving a try. Watching those to see if your like perception of like how those characters were executed changes. Because yeah,
Well,
I think there was like
I know it wouldn't change anything because I think one of my issues I had was the pacing. So even if your character is better,
oh yeah, I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like certain
yeah,
things. And
I
even then,
I
it's just at least like I'm not saying you'll still like
I
think differently. I mean, to at least understand it.
I
But
still think it was a well done movie overall. But I liked much more Glass Onion.
Yeah, I mainly mean to like at least understand why there's like so much praise for it, even if you don't like it. But yeah, I mean, Glass Onion. Yep, I did enjoy, but yeah, I wouldn't have personally. Yeah, out of those five, yeah, I definitely would go Banshees or Everything Everywhere. I would probably pick Everything Everywhere though. Banshees would be a very close second, but yeah, basically those two are probably like top two of the year for me personally. But yeah, best actor. So yeah, this is basically what the not the other three. Hugh Jackman might get in, but I doubt it. But basically, this is kind of like what the race is probably going to be. That it's going to be like these two, basically, Austin Butler and Elvis, or Brendan Fraser and The Whale. And yeah, Austin Butler won this one, but Brendan Fraser won the Critics' Choice Award thing. I think a major thing that's going to play out is the BAFTAs. I think whoever wins the BAFTA, it's going to really swing whoever wins the Oscar. So, but yeah, not
Next
really
up.
too much to say because you haven't seen any of these.
Yeah.
So, but
Oh,
yeah,
Kate Blanchett. Oh, I actually understand. So that's the
yeah,
only movie I've seen in the bunch, but
yeah. I agree
I
with
can
this
see
one.
why. I can see why.
Yeah, Olivia Colman was great. You know, she's great in everything. She's an amazing actress. But Empire Light was a disappointing film. Woman King was solid, and Viola Davis was good. But yeah, I wouldn't say award worthy though. Besides maybe some technical categories. Yeah, Blonde was fucking embarrassing, and so was that performance. That film has been shit on by everyone, and for a reason. It is like, good God, it is an embarrassing. I'm so disappointed by the director. He's done some great things, like the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. That was an amazing film, and then he's just like, oh, what the fuck was he thinking here anyway? But yeah, out of these five, the, yeah, it's either Kate Blanchett or Michelle Williams, and they definitely made. Yeah, Kate Blanchett was just fucking masterful in this film. Her or Michelle Yeoh should definitely win the Oscar, and I think it's gonna go to Kate Blanchett, and I think it's deserved, even though she's only already won like 2 or 3 Oscars. I think it's deserved because she was just that amazing in it. But if she doesn't win over Michelle Yeoh, then it would probably be more because she's already won twice, so they want to give it to somebody new. But yeah, anyway, yeah. Any thoughts? So you think it's deserved? I guess. I mean,
I
even though you
think
haven't
it's
seen the
deserved.
other.
I haven't seen the others, but I like the performance a lot
Yeah,
in
well, we'll
Tar.
watch the
So
Fablemans soon,
yeah,
so you'll see there. But the other three besides the Fablemans, I mean, I can tell you now, like whether you like the films or not, they're definitely, they don't hold a candle to Kate Blanchett's performance. I can just tell you that right now, at least in performance wise. Anyway, and then this was the last award of the night. So the Banshees won Best Picture for musical or comedy, and then this one for drama. And I mean, Everything Everywhere and the Banshees wasn't in this category, so I can understand it, but personally, I would still go with Tar.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
uh,
interesting. So that's
yeah, but I'm
Tar.
glad Avatar didn't win.
Tar is the only one I've seen in the bunch, but I've heard good stuff about Top Gun, and I've heard good stuff about the Fableman, mainly
Oh
coming
yeah,
from
well, I
you.
mean,
But
have you seen the first Top Gun?
actually, I did not.
Well, I will say it's really the first Top Gun is really a product of its time, and it does not hold up well, really, at all. It's kind of like one of those cheesy, films, like, for its era, and with a lot of like younger people for its time in the '80s and stuff. But so, and yeah, I mean, it's all right, but yeah, it doesn't hold up too well. But yeah, but the sequel again, and it's like a legacy sequel, pretty much. 40 plus years later. Yeah, they did a great job. It is a great film, and yeah, um, yeah, it's definitely how you do a sequel like that, right? Years later, plays it a little safe, a little cheesy at some moments, but overall, they did a great job with it. And if they ever make the Goonies too, that's what I would hope out of it. But yeah, so, and I don't know if we'll get like a Best Picture nominee. I doubt, but it's definitely going to get some stuff like cinematography added in, visual effects, sound. So if you want to add that to the list of stuff to watch for the upcoming Oscars, then we can do that. But we would probably have to watch Top Gun first.
Yeah.
So if I do that, what I would probably do is put like 3 films in a week. You
Yeah.
know, like honestly, you don't even need to watch much of the first Top Gun if you don't want to. Mainly, there's only like certain key moments in Top Gun you'd want to watch. Yeah, mainly you just know like the main character is a guy who joins the
If we
flight
cover
school, really
Maverick,
good
we will
prospect.
cover both. So I will watch Top Gun
Yeah,
both.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty much the premise of the first there, and then some things happen, and mainly there's mainly like 3 plot points that happen with like supporting characters that end up leading into the sequel, and then overall with his character, and those are really the main things that you really need to know from the original. The rest don't really matter so much, but yeah, we'll watch both if we do. But yeah, again, if we, I'd probably do like 3 in that week films just to quickly go through the fucking Top Gun films there. But yeah. Oh yeah,
So
right. That was also nominated for original song. I forgot. Yeah, because Lady Gaga made it the Top Gun Maverick song. Jesus.
wow.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a video earlier. What is the
Oh
video?
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just gonna mention. You can search it. Oh, I'll send it out to you on
Okay.
Twitter. Sure. Yeah, it's just the guy from the Goonies who then won that, and yeah, he gave that speech and is pretty. Yeah, I just wanted to share because it was pretty. Definitely one of the better speeches, and heartfelt speeches in a award show I've seen. Yeah, probably will be similar to something that
Is
he'll say at the Oscars when he wins. But yeah, that's the link to it.
is there any music? Oh, it
No,
says not
no.
available.
There's a. Oh, it says not available.
This video has been blocked in your country by the
Oh, okay.
user
So,
that uploaded
okay.
it.
So, okay. So yeah, basically, okay, yeah, that basically you need it from the U.S. to watch it. Okay, well, there might be another version of it. I don't know, but yeah, but basically you don't need. I wasn't doing the share on your screen like at the stream and screen share. I was just gonna show you it for later. After when the stream ends, if you want to watch it afterwards. But yeah, because it's pretty heartfelt. But yeah, I don't know if you have like a VPS. Do you?
No.
Okay, or VPN or whatever. I mean, okay. Well, there's other versions of that speech in your that would be available in your country, so you can go search for that. This might be one of them right here actually. So I'll check. We'll see.
So, any closing thoughts, man? We are in the 2 hour mark, and I need to
Oh
eat
no,
something
that's
before
about
work.
it.
So, man, I had a lot of fun today. And just before we close off, I know you are not the biggest fan of Arrow, but it's been official. In the Flash final season, we will get Oliver back. So he will be there for at least one episode, based on what I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
amazing. What do you
I
think
mean,
about that?
is it going on right? Is it going on right now, or is it coming out
It
soon?
it's coming out in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's out
Okay.
soon. So it's
Well, again, what we can do is we can go episode by episode if you want.
yeah,
And in the same, what we can do is in the same stream we review the first episode. We can quickly just say our thoughts on like what on the entire show up until that point, since I've
yeah.
seen the rest of it. But
I also
yeah.
planned on having a discussion with other content creator if they are still
Oh yeah,
willing to
right.
join us. So this will be 1 week before it comes back, and it will be on our usual Tuesday, except if we move it elsewhere. So
Hmm.
that's the plan.
Right.
So next week Tuesday. Uh, Same time as usual, or we need to move it?
Yeah, no, Tuesday is fine because
Okay.
because the films I'll be recommending I won't need a rewatch for because I've seen them recently. Because we'll be doing the Oscar thing, I guess. Put the rest on the back burner for now. So
Yeah.
so it's easy. I just need to watch Umbrella Academy.
Third season. Third and last season for
Yes.
now. I hope we will get a fourth season soon. Because even if I do think season two was weaker, it's still content and it's still entertaining and it's still interesting to see other craft on comic book characters and comic book storylines. So I'm still hyped for season three. What are your expectations for season three?
I just I don't know, but I'll just say I hope it's a little bit better than season two. If it's at least around like a even just like a 6.5, I'll be happy enough. I'm not expecting the most out of it. It's just as long as it's good, that's all care. That's all I care about. If it's good, it's good. But yeah. But yeah,
So
I'll just send you the what the topics will be for on
perfect.
Twitter here. Basically, this will be the first one. We'll be watching this film. Yeah, we'll be watching the Fablemans. Why not? Since it will be the one of the top ones in the running, and then one of the other ones that we haven't watched yet. That's will probably be a top one in the running that we'll watch as well. Will be because why not? Let's just shove this fucking in here, I guess, just because it isn't the best. It's definitely his weakest one yet, I would say, but we'll start off with that. I will
Okay.
say though, do you think you're able? Because I just now this is just for clarification for future weeks. Maybe this week. Do you think you would be because you said that you would try to before if you had the amount of time. So, and this week I'm not going to do that because you only have like 5 days to do it since we're doing this Thursday. But just
Yeah.
for future weeks, do you think there's any days where you would be able to do 3 films or no? Just for clarifications.
It depends. Look, when we will cover weekly stuff like The Flash, I will have more time because we only have one episode of The Flash. But it like in March it will get a bit crazy because in March we will have The Flash. But well, The Flash will be like half done, but we will have The Flash in
Yeah, that
March.
is true.
We will have
To
Superman
be
and
fair, though, when
Lois.
it comes to shows, I think it's a lot easier for us because when they air live episode by episode, I think they're a lot easier to just quickly watch as they air.
Yeah. So, as they air, except for maybe in March, but in February, since we only have the Flash in February, I see myself covering a tree movie. But here's the thing: we may lack comic book stuff, so I'm fine with three movies, but we still need a good balance, you know. So we still need to find.
Yeah, that's fine. That's true. I will
So
say though, I mean, we are running out of comic book stuff, but we'll see.
yeah,
I mean, with
well,
show wise, we're still good though, but with
yeah,
film wise, it is a little tough. But hey,
yeah.
I mean, if you ever want to watch some of the older stuff, hey, we can watch the 1943 Batman. Fuck yeah,
Hell
because
yeah!
that's a masterpiece. You know, the first comic book movie ever made, the first Batman movie ever made, and you know what they did in it? They were
What?
gonna have the Joker as the villain in that ancient fucking comic book film that's basically a drama, but it was World War II going on. So last second they changed it from the Joker to an evil Japanese guy to a white guy with
Wow.
yellow face. A white guy with a yellow face on playing a Japanese guy with a stereotypical accent. Like I need to take over U.S. with Japanese value money. Yes, we will take over the U.S. And then there's characters like, no, I stand for America and nothing else. Just like, get away from me, you chink, you Jap. And go back to eating ramen, and then
We got a
the
Fantastic
golly.
Four, man. We got like 4 great movie.
Yep. Yeah, good old World War II Batman. Anyway, fucking hell. You know, there's like an old photo you can look up on online. It was like because during World War II there was there were pro-war advertisements, and there was one of Superman saying Superman says you can slap slap a Jap. So yeah,
Man,
racist Superman.
I had a blast this week as usual. Thank you for doing this every week with me. I'm having a great time with you. Thank you very much for your time. Any closing thoughts, man?
No, that's about it.
So next week, Elvis, the Fableman, and Umbrella Academy third season. I'm very
Yep,
hyped
perfect.
about everything. With that being said, man, thank you very much. Take care and have a good night, man.